Hello, everyone. My name is Sophia Pinaretta, and I currently serve as your BPA Secondary Executive Historian. In this video, I'll be going over tips and strategies for finding success within the competitive events. If anyone has any questions at any point during this video, you can reach out to National BPA on Instagram at BPA Connect or the Executive Officer Team on Instagram as well at officers_BPA. First, I'd like to briefly explain the two main types of events. There are judged and non-judged events. Regarding judged events, many of these have a pre-submit portion to them, as well as a judged presentation and Q&A portion. Judged events typically do have a final round. These types of events emphasize preparation and quick thinking. Finally, with these types of events, you will only receive feedback on the judged portion. Going into non-judged events, also known as computer events, these typically involve a time restraint and are scored based on a product created or errors detected within your submission. These events test your knowledge and the ability of a specific subject or application. If you are not sure which type of event you would like to do, or would simply like to learn more about the events offered within BPA, you can check out Secondary Executive Treasurer Annalie Stowe's video on choosing an event and navigating the WhatsApp. Moving on to the event tips themselves, I'll first go over tips for judged events. My first tip is to prepare in advance. If your event has a pre-submit, make sure you are not putting it off until the last minute. Additionally, you want to make sure you are prepared for any presentation that you may have. Practicing what you will say in front of someone, such as a friend or family member, can help you prepare for when you're in front of the judge on competition day. My next tip is to triple check your work. This is particularly important if your event has a pre-submit, as you want to make sure you are meeting all the guidelines and specifications of the event. The WhatsApp is posted months before pre-submits are due, so take advantage of this time. You do not want to be deducted on points for grammatical errors or other mistakes that would be easy to prevent otherwise. Pertaining to any presentation, my next tip is that less is more. You want to ensure that the judge can focus on what you're saying, so do not put excessive amount of wording on any slides that you may have. Keep it simple and to the point. Finally, you want to ensure that you have all materials you need come competition day. This can include whatever you are using to present, such as a presentation clicker, projector, laptop charger, or any other items, as well as the release forms and copy of your pre-submit if applicable. Again, be sure to check your event guidelines so you know what you can and cannot bring into the event. Moving on to non-judged event tips. My first tip here is the same with judged events, which is to prepare in advance. However, this is a different type of preparation. For most non-judged events, you're allowed to use resources such as manuals or even calculators. You want to make sure that you know what you're allowed to bring in and that you familiarize yourself with these items. My next tip is to make a plan. This is a very small yet a very effective tip. When you enter your competition, look at what you must complete as well as the amount of time you have, and make a plan of how much time you want to spend on each item or job. Throughout the competition, you can then refer to your plan and determine whether you need to work faster or if you can slow down and spend more time on your work. The next tip is to utilize the material you are allowed. Referring to the first tip, if you're allowed to bring in anything, such as a manual, make sure you take advantage of the fact that you can have it during the competition. Utilize the tools available to you. Lastly, allot some time to review your work. I know I personally like to set aside 5 minutes of my competition time to double check my work and make sure I do not have any errors or that I did not miss anything. This is a very important step and make sure you review your work. Finally, a few last tips that can apply to any competition. The first is to practice, practice, practice. Take advantage of the time and ability you have to practice. Whether this is doing your presentation out loud or simply looking over the format that your non-judged event will be in, make sure you are utilizing every chance you have to practice. The second tip is to be early. For both types of events, you want to be at least 15 minutes early. This is just to make sure you are ready to go and that you're ready to set up, but also so that you can account for anything that may come up. Technology hiccups do happen, so competitors should stay calm and try to work through the issue. And of course, if the issue cannot be resolved in a timely manner, it is okay to pivot. Don't focus only on the problem, but rather find a solution. Judges are impressed when competitors keep composure and work around problems. The next tip is to dress good, feel good. This is somewhat self-explanatory, but just make sure you present yourself well during competitions. If you are in a group and you are doing a judged event, having coordinating outfits can be beneficial so that you do not clash with one another or even your presentation. Be sure to try on and even practice in the clothes you plan on competing in so you feel comfortable and confident in what you are wearing. My fourth tip is do not procrastinate. I have mentioned taking advantage of the time you have throughout this video, but it truly is important. Do not wait until last minute to think about or even prepare for your competition. Next is a simple yet pertinent tip, which is to sleep well the night before and have a good breakfast the morning of your competition. You want to work at your highest capacity on competition day, and you could do so while being well rested and having food in your system to power your brain. Finally, take advantage of resources. This could be anything from having a friend read your pre-submit before you submit it, to asking your chapter advisor to access the BPA testing engine and practice tests. BPA is full of resources and people willing to help you be the best competitor you can be. Hopefully these tips will help you out. And once again, if anyone has any questions, you can reach out to the executive officer team on Instagram at officers_BPA, national BPA on Instagram at BPA Connect, or you can email me, and my email is spinarreta@bpa.org. Thank you for watching.